Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how you can create this end-to-end workflow, which is basically a Telegram AI agent that can analyze any ad creative image and give you a full detailed breakdown of what's happening in that image, and also give you some suggestions, for example, or key recommendations for improvement for that ad creative, right? So again, really cool if you are in marketing and if you want to kind of analyze competitors' ad creatives, or really if you're just getting into AI agents and automations, and this is something that you want to do, then definitely this is a video for you because you can learn quite a bunch. And I'm going to explain you how everything works behind the scenes, guys. And you already know this entire workflow will be available as a free JSON template, meaning that everything you see on the screen right here, you will be able to download that as a JSON free template and import that directly into your n8n, okay? And the link will be either in the description box below the video or in the comment section, okay? So I'm not sure which one, so make sure to check it out. And guys, this is how the end result would look like. So basically, I send an image through Telegram with a just any image really, or like any ad creative image, right? Like this right here. And then it gives me like a full breakdown in terms of what there is, right? So we have visual impact, strategy and audience, key recommendations, and performance optimization tips, guys. You guys can see right here. Let me just scroll through it fast. So essentially all of this is analyzed using a agent in this workflow, and then it sends you a really nicely formatted Telegram message with all the details, right? So that's how it works, guys. And again, if you are curious how to create a basic Telegram bot, meaning authentication, creating your access tokens, and all that cool stuff, make sure to check out my YouTube channel. I've dedicated a video on how to create Telegram AI agent slash bot from 0 to 100, guys, okay? But for now, let me just guide you through this workflow so you know how to work with that, how to modify that, or maybe how to adjust it for your client if you want to, for example, sell this workflow as well, okay? So let's go ahead and dive into it right away. Okay, so let me just jump into executions, meaning it kind of shows how it executes through the workflow throughout the nodes. So let me just explain you how the logic, how the business logic flows through the entire workflow here. Okay, guys. So we have the trigger node, which in this case is a Telegram. So in n8n, everything has to start with a trigger. In this case, we are using a Telegram trigger node to trigger the workflow, right? So it's really basic node. There's nothing really happening, right? It connects directly to your Telegram account using the access token and API, right? And the trigger is on message, okay? Any that message, it's going to be triggered, right? Then we're using a basically node to check for specific data, if it matches specific data or input or output. Think of it as a sort of a switch, right? So it's an actual switch node. So think of it as a switch that kind of goes up and down, and it routes the data to appropriate node based on the switch, right? So, and we have a couple of rules here. So the routing rules are basically if the photo exists right here. So if there is a image attached through a Telegram message, right? If not, we're gonna basically send a sort of error message, or it's not really error message in a sense, right? It's more of a custom error message, I would say, just to say something like, please upload an image for analysis, right? So if you try to send a message to Telegram node without attaching an actual image, then it's gonna be routed to a error message, right? So I usually like to add error messages in my workflows. A lot of people don't, but then it's really confusing for beginners because you won't be able to understand what happened, right? So this really helps you to know, okay, something is wrong. Then in that case, we're going to route that to a error node or error flow, saying that, okay, you didn't upload the message, so that's going to be the error, right? So this is basically a sort of a custom message, custom error message logic right here. But if we do have an image, then we're going to move on to the next node, which is basically image analysis node right here. And for that one, we're using OpenAI node. It's a little bit different than AI agent node or AI model node. Okay, so this is a official OpenAI node, and it has a lot of options like analyze image, generate image, and stuff like that. So you can either analyze image or you can actually generate image using ChatGPT's image API endpoint, right? So again, here we're not really doing anything. We're just really adding the node, choosing the model 4.0. I like 4.0 opposed to 5 because 5 is pretty slow, and it takes like on average 3 to 4 minutes to process basic request. right? So I feel like it's just because the new model, maybe there's a lot of requests happening, or it's not yet fully optimized. So I'm still sticking with 4.0 because of the performance reasons, right? For text input, you don't need to change anything, right? We just basically want to kind of get the data, what's in the image. Again, if you want to have more complex understanding of the image, or you're trying to analyze or retrieve some specific data from the image, you can adjust the text input, but usually you don't. Then we need to switch to the binary files, right? So from drop-down menu, it's going to be binary because we need to convert image into binary. If you send just a PNG or JPEG, AI agent won't understand what to do with it. So you need to convert that to a binary, okay? And all of that can be done through the node right here, okay? And then once it does, it converts to binary, it sends that as a content and explains what's on that image, okay? So then all of that will be sent to a agent node, okay? The reason why I'm using a agent node right here, because I want to perform more in-depth analysis, right? You can even like skip the a agent part right here and connect this directly to Telegram. But what's going to happen, it's just going to basically send you a very basic description of what's exactly on the image without any analysis or like that, right? So what this node does, it just literally analyzes and tells you kind of in a basic English what's depicted on this image. But if you want to do a AI analysis, you do need to add a agent node like here I did, right? So if I open the agent node, we have a pretty, I would say, basic prompt. Okay, nothing crazy here. You are an expert creative analyst providing concise, actionable image insights, right? And then just really kind of explaining what we are trying to achieve through this image analysis, right? So visual impact, strategy and audience, right? Key recommendations and output format, okay? We want to make sure that it's formatted in the way that we want and it's readable and scannable for us as well. Or for example, if you want to send it to your client, right? Maybe your client does a lot of ads, they're running a lot of Facebook ads, TikTok ads, and they want to understand what their competitors are doing and how their ad is structured. So you can set something up for your client, and they can use this flow and really to understand and analyze from technical POV how is the ad structured, right? So really useful and a couple of use cases for something like this, right? So then we are using expressions right here to basically get the data from the previous inputs, from the previous nodes, right? So the way it works is actually very easy. You can either do it manually, but that would be just a waste of time. If you kind of look right here, okay, you can basically take and drag and drop these blocks right here, right? So if you can see here, it says $JSON.content, and if you can see on the left side, it says content. And basically, it's coming from the image analysis content JSON right here. Yeah, right? So you can either type that manually, right? Or you can just take this one and drag and drop in here, and it's going to be the same end result, right? And for the user, basically, that's a user prompt right here, right? And the way you get it, you just expand this Telegram node right here. And if you kind of scroll down a little bit, here we have chat ID, the name, right? And all the basics, right? And also from here, you will retrieve a chat message, right? So in my case, I just send an image without explaining everything. But if you send any texts or specific requests alongside with the image, it will be also added here through the expression, right? Since I didn't really put any prompts, it's just my name. But you can also just in a way that it's feeding the message and the prompt through this flow, right? So you can adjust if you want to, very simple. If you run into any issues, just let me know down in the comments how do you want to adjust the flow and what you're trying to achieve, and I'll help you out. I'll answer your question and I'll tell you how to do that, okay? Awesome, guys. So that's for that. And then we're sending everything basically to a Telegram node as a response. Actually, there's two ways of doing that. I'm kind of using the old school way, right? So it's kind of like directional or static flow, I would say. It's going to flow directly from the A agent to the response node. But I can also use it as a tool right here. If you click on the tool, there will be a Telegram tool available. And Telegram tool is basically an actual tool that a agent can use, right? So it's really useful if you want to kind of chat with a agent and maybe make adjustments or adjust your previous request or prompt, right? But the way I call it, the old school way, or kind of a single flow style node, which is this one right here, right? It kind of goes from one node to another, more like a standard classic, I would say, automation flow, right? Work tool is more flexible because you don't need to explain too much to an agent what that tool does. It knows it has a tool. It can send messages. It can, reply and stuff like that. So it's more of a dynamic way of building agents, right? So I'll show you in a bit also how to do it, guys. Okay. And if I open up this node right here, what we're gonna see, we're gonna basically see the output, which is the output from the agent, which includes the analysis and everything about the image. The way it works in the node right here. So again, we're using expression for chat ID, right? If you don't add chat ID, it's gonna crash saying that chat ID is missing, right? So when you're working with Telegram, you need basically your custom bot that you create through a bot father in Telegram. It's going to generate a access token for your Telegram, and then you need chat ID, right? And chat ID is retrieved from your custom bot. So when you create your custom bot and start chat with it, it's going to generate a chat ID. It's a bit tricky how to get it, but if you want to learn how to do that exactly, go to my YouTube channel. I believe the video is called How to Build Telegram Agent or something like that. And there I'm explaining how to basically generate your access tokens and chat IDs and everything for n8n. And I'll walk you through step by step from A to Z how to do that exactly. Okay, so definitely go check it out if you haven't done that before. Right, so we are using here chat ID, and that is done through an expression. And again, the expression is being fed from the left side output right here, right? So if I expand my image receiver here, and here it is, that's a message ID, chat ID. So right here, it's coming basically from right here, chat ID, and that's essentially how we are getting the expression data, right? So this is basically right here. You can just basically take and drag it right here, and it's going to be the same output. And this is basically JSON output. That is the general output here, right? So if you look right here under the creative analysis agent, you see output, and this is exactly where this expression is coming from, right? And that's how the message is sent to us in Telegram, right? So that's how it works. I think the last one I need to really kind of explain you quickly is OpenAI chat model. So if you're new to agents, as you know, a agent on its own doesn't generate anything. It needs AKA the brain, right? And you have a couple options. The most common one is OpenAI, because I don't want to say it's too much cheaper than Claude, but I feel like it's more general purpose AI model, right? You have like all the mini models. You have like a lot of options, right? Where Cloud, I feel like Cloud is really good for complex tasks. If you're working with like large context window queries, you need to process programming, data sets, and stuff like that. But if you're working with creative stuff, marketing, ChatGPT is kind of easier to work with. Cloud is good too, honestly. Cloud is really good specifically with creating copies, and it's a bit more less generic. But again, ChatGPT is kind of a go-to open. Oh, it's your go-to model for pretty much most of the tasks that you want to do in n8n, right? So it's really easy. Just create an account with OpenAI APIs, drop some funds on your APIs, add your credit card, and you're gonna be good to go, right? Again, if you want to know exactly how to do that, make sure to check out my YouTube channel. I have a lot of videos on explaining how to generate API keys for your OpenAI and a bunch of other stuff, guys. So make sure to check out my YouTube channel. If you can find it, let me know in the comments, and I'll send you a link for those videos. Okay, don't worry about it. Cool, guys. So that's how it works. If you go back to editor, also for all my beginners out there, I'm adding this fairly, I don't say extensive, but like, beginner friendly sticky note explaining what it does, how it works, the key features, and also the credentials required. Right. And yeah, guys, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, enable those notifications so you get notified when the next video like this drops. And guys, I will wish you happy building, and you already know I'm going to see you next time.